Hello everyone and welcome back to Packs and Recreation, and today we're gonna catch them all, but with a catch, because I am opening a very weird thing. So remember last time we opened the erasers, the Pokemon erasers from Scarlet and Violet, link in the corner, and just check that down below. So I ordered some of them and they gave me a bunch of them, so that was a fun video. I really recommend you go check it. And I did it mostly because of the Pokemon figures, right? So since we had that video and that experience, and you have my feedback there about how I actually kind of like those figures, even though they are supposed to be erasers, I actually did the same. So, but now, and this time like in a more reduced quantity, but now for other two Pokemon. So same pack, and this is one of those things that is very, I don't know, I'm not gonna say predatory, but very flexible. This is the typical thing that you will see in a supermarket. This is the typical thing that you will see in the alley next to the checkout. So the kids go like, can I please, and then like they have these lunch boxes and other school supplies things mixed with Pokemon cards, which, you know, if that gets kids interested in school, that's good. But we all know it's because of Pokemon. So the packaging is very cool. Right, it's like this Pokeball protecting the figure here, and two boosters. So not bad, depending on which price, depending on the price that you get them, it's actually not a bad deal. You know, like it has to be more or less the price of two boosters plus a little bit because of the eraser. But two things. So now we have Gengar and Wampits. As you can see, is either Gengar or Wampits. Now, is it Wampits? Well, because you will be surprised that it says Wampits, but then it's Bellibolt, because an electric Pokemon that has electricity in its belly, blah, 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 blah. But then you already realize, if you're a savvy viewer and you don't use me as a podcast, that this thing is in German. So apparently there is a curse when it comes to these things. These are the back to school 2024 eraser blisters, and you know they come same as last year. Now with Gengar and Bellibolt, I'm assuming they pick Pokemon with round shapes and easy shapes so they can do the erasers easily. And you know, in the other was Lechonk and the olive Pokemon that I can't remember the name. Man, I am old. And now it's Gengar. Everyone loves Gengar and Bellibolt, which some people may find cool. I don't know. So I tried to get my hands on it, and I was like, yeah, can you please send it to me? I don't want a full box like last time. I want like 2 of each or something to do the video and to talk about them. It's like, yeah, sure. And it arrived in German. So, well, let's make the best out of a bad situation. And I will try my best to not make a German impression that is too offensive, because, I mean, I'm not going to try and read this. If you are German, in the comments, please rate my pronunciation of the Pokemon names. But most of the key words are the same, right? Booster packs, Pokemon. That's all we need. Booster pack, Pokemon, and Gengar has the same name in German. So that's good. Now the pronunciation, certainly like booster packs, maybe it's like, well, I guess it should be booster packs anyway. I don't think there is like a specific pronunciation to it. But Gengar, maybe it's not pronounced Gengar, but Gengar or something. Well, even though that's Dutch, I think. But well, you know my point, right? So we're gonna have some fun looking at the name of some Pokemon in German. And again, as we should always do in life, let's try to do the best out of a bad situation. At the end of the day, well, this is some great packaging. So yeah, this is pro level unboxing, people. Welcome to Packs and Recreation. See, the freaking thing doesn't want to give up. So you really have to play here with like Mission Impossible music, trying to cut but not too much. So every blister comes with 2 packs. Again, no one is going to get rich at this. This is not a money thing. This is all about the figure. And, well, you get 2 boosters, and the boosters normally are from either current sets or sets that they want to get rid of stock, which is an ongoing theme with Pokemon boosters. they always do the weird products with boosters that they already they're already out of circulation, right? So Twilight Masquerade and and Temporal Rift, I think. Actually, Paradox Rift and Temporal Forces, so that's Temporal Forces. So Temporal Forces and Twilight Masquerade. So we're gonna open this at the end. We're going to see the figures first. Let's open both. And I actually have 2 more of each, so we're going to just open all of them and analyze the figures in a second, because my biggest surprise, my biggest revelation with the first time we did this was that I was not expecting good figures, right? Mind you, when I say figures, it's because I don't know what else to call them. They are erasers, sure. But I was not expecting anything too detailed, right? I come from a generation that got some very good protection here for the figure, right? So that's cool. Or the eraser. Normally when you get a themed eraser, right, it's like a normal eraser with a drawing on top, right? And sometimes it was just like a rectangular eraser and some printing, some illustration put there in the middle. Nothing too fancy, and the fanciest erasers will be. She looks cool, man. Damn. Would be actually will be like semi-shape erasers, which I'm going to show you in a second what I mean. I think I pulled that as an example in the last video, but we just open the last one and I will go get an example to show you what I mean with packaging is either great or awful. I imagine it's like this on purpose to make it difficult for people to, like, you know, open them and steal the contents, since this is a very like supermarket oriented product, I'm guessing. So see, like, these are erasers, believe it or not, and you have the other ones in the other video, but normally the best looking erasers are something like this. See, like this is an eraser. It has a Squirtle printing on it, and it has no use, and yet you can see that the drawing already suffered a little bit. So it's cool, it's great, and it's one of those things that you can either just have it like this, and you will be like, dude, it's an eraser. It's like, well, if you ask me if I want an eraser or one of those new like acrylic figures that they sell for anime figures, because they are cheaper than like an anime figure, so it's like just an acrylic cutout, I prefer this because at least in case of desperation I can use this for something else. But I'm gonna be honest, and you can imagine the guy with the gloves will say this, but I have a collection of these, mostly because when people will, you know, give them to me, or like in school season, you will get packs of like these and a pencil and all that, all thematic. I will feel very bad using it because, you know, you use it twice and Squirtle is already missing an arm. So I was never too keen to this. So yeah, that's why we have, and this is recent, by the way. This is not like from my childhood or anything. This is fairly recent. So normally this is an eraser, fairly easy. You cut with a mold, etc. Now the Pokemon company comes and says, now this is an eraser. Look at this thing. Like, very chunky body. This is very heavy. If you hit someone with this is a weapon, right? Like, you can do serious damage to a person with this. And the same happened with Lechonk in the previous pack. Obviously, it's not a perfect figure. You see small imperfections here and there, but then again, it's an eraser. So I mean, it's not like a collector. It's not a Van Presto figure or anything like that, right? It's an eraser, and what I find beautiful is precisely that. It's an eraser. It's amazing. Like, I wouldn't use this in my life, I guess, because, I mean, look at this. It's pretty as hell. Like, who will be the the soulless person that will grab this. I mean, and it's not because it's a Pokemon. It's like, oh, a cute creature. It's like, no, who will be the soulless person that will look at this thing, this very well crafted piece of rubber, I guess, and go like, it's a rubber, and just use it as an eraser. It's like, what the hell? It looks very nice. And now, obviously, La Piece de la Resistance, because this one looks pretty cool. Nice details in the eyes and the mouth. See, you can see all that. Like, very good level of detail. Again, this is an eraser. This is I don't know, a rubber. I don't know what you call it in your country. This is to erase what you write with a pencil, right? So it's just like a supply. And this looks so badass and it's very heavy. But then, obviously, nostalgia is more powerful. And here is Gengar. Look at that. Like, if it was just like this and like a round thing, and we'd be like, well, okay, it's more or less like this one, right? Like this one is kind of round too, so easy to do. But this one is like full of spikes everywhere. Look at those fingers, man. Look at that. Like the level of detail and all the spikes in the back. The level of detail for a freaking eraser, it's beautiful. It's wonderful. I mean, the only downside that you can say is that the face is like plastered instead of like, being 3D like this, which is only the eyes really, because the mouth is also painted. But it's like, what else do you want, man? It's a rubber. Like, sorry to make such a point out of this, but like, again, I don't know. Maybe I am not into the school supplies meta, right? And someone will comment like, "Oh, this is fairly common. You will see this. Check this video for a comprehensive collection and study of like multiple types of rubbers around, the erasers or rubbers or whatever, from multiple years." And I will be like, "Wow, that's freaking crazy!" But I don't have that experience. Normally, it's like a rectangle or this, and this to me is already a fancy enough thing, right? But this. Damn, people, this thing is so cool. Like, yes, you have some seams here, but like, newsflash, you buy a Pokemon figure that is more or less this size for like $20 or $30 or something, because Nintendo has these. Well, Nintendo Pokemon Company has these packs that are like 4 Pokemon the same size as this one. Is like $30. It's like, sorry, where are you going with it? And this one, you even get 2 boosters, right? So it's freaking crazy. I mean. We're moving into the German boosters in a second, but I mean, damn, brother. This thing looks so cool. So I'm going to put Gengar here and Bellibolt here too. Look at that. They even stand. They fixed the problem that some of the others had. They stand perfectly. That's pretty cool. So Temporal Forces and Twilight Masquerade. We should have 4 of each. And I'm going to go Temporal Forces first. Or sorry, Gewalten der Zeit or something. Sorry to all the Germans in the world for this gratuitous attack to your language. I'm gonna say something like, as a person that doesn't speak German, and I only, as you can obviously tell by my perfect pronunciation, and only I can kind of understand sometimes what is there in writing, in spoken, like, no, not at all. I do appreciate the structure, like, all these very long words. I mean, you could say that German people don't use their space bars that much, but at least there's a structure to everything, right? Like, Überraschung, Sangriff, and then you go look at what this means, and it's like a concept and it makes sense. So, Monozito for Nucleus, Eneco. Wow, the names are great. Electek for Electabuzz, which is not a bad name, right? Not a bad name. It does sound for English speaking and in a modern era, Electek sounds that it should more like it should be like the Mecha Godzilla version of Electabuzz, but is a cruel name. Weherba, or I guess it would be like Veherba or something like that, or Veherba. I guess that herba is like herb or something, because it's and I don't know. I'm making guesses. Cytomega. Oh, so we have Monocito, Cytomega, and we are missing the middle evolution, which is Mitodos. So Monocito, Mitodos, and Cytomega. Not bad names. The Nebelshire Energy. Welcome to Duolingo. I put a special energy here. Cronjuwild. Well, again, I'm pronouncing it with an English pronunciation, but it will be like Cronjuwild, I guess. I'm guessing again. My apologies to all Germans everywhere. Reverse foil Clonket. And reverse foil Stalobor. Okay. And a foil Senlong. Ooh, Senlong for Drampa. Senlong is not a bad name. Like Shenlong, Senlong for Drampa. That's actually a pretty good name for Drampa. Drampa, to be honest, sounds kind of silly. This is Pokemon, right? It's not like the... But it sounds kind of silly in the sense that it sounds too much like a real word, like grandpa, right? So a coden for you. I don't know what I'm saying. For German people that may be watching this, besides my apologies for the third time, it's funny that whenever someone tries to read German or pretend that they're speaking German or whatever, they always have to do this angry tone. And it's true that there is this meme. It's like, oh, if you're speaking German, you need to sound like angry, which is not true. I guess it's just because of the media that most people consume. But it's an interesting fact that if you consume other media that is like more soft spoken, it's very interesting as a language. And German, it's together with French and I think it's German and French only for Europe, I think. Tortunator. Nice. They did change the name of the Pokemon, right? So that's why we're here, because of reasons. I imagine they saw the names and they were like, nah, we need to localize this for this to work, which makes sense. And you see names like the more common that everyone know, right? Like Charizard and all that. They make more sense when translated. Ooh, let's go. And Akup. Although this sounds like, well, the Pokemon is chilling there technically. Like, well, it looks like it's just another piece of equipment, or is actually it looks more like it's a generator and it's just feeding the rest of the devices. I don't know. Kind of weird, but the art is cool. Whenever you see Pokemon, and Flatterhaar, which is great. I guess it was only French and German, at least for the big five, that changed the name of the Pokemon, because Spanish and Italian and Portuguese, they kept the same names as English, right? So it's interesting that French and German have like different Pokemon names, and makes it very confusing whenever you need to discuss it with other people. But I think it's fair in the sense that I think we talked about this last time. I did like a multi-language pack, which is like a side of me, right? Is thinking, well, I will really prefer, well, Raichu is Raichu, because I guess Nintendo was like, okay, no, Pikachu stays, right? Pikachu stays the way it is, and so for Raichu. And it's like, okay, it is the mascot. Reverse foil Raichu, Maril, nice, and Melmetal. So some of them do keep the same name, right? It's not like every Pokemon has a different name code for you. But a lot of them have, and sometimes I guess that it has to do with either the name sounds weird, or maybe I don't know. Maybe they thought of a better joke or pun for the name in the native language, and a part of me doesn't really like it, in the sense that I would prefer that we all share the same name for a Pokemon, and sometimes the name of a Pokemon is kind of nonsense anyway, right? But a lot of times it's also like, well, it's because English is the default language a lot of times for these things, and people just go like, for example, Shaymin is whatever as a name, But some of these names are like, well, this is clearly some English words. I understand to make this more, Caesar, or sorry, Xerox, Skerox, Xerox. I don't know. I really don't know how to pronounce this, but cool looking, by the way. It's one of the few in this style that I actually like how the Pokemon is illustrated. But this is Caesar EX, which is pronounced Xerox. And Scyther is Sichlor. I guess it's Sichlor and Skyrox. I don't know. I guess I need to put some Google pronunciation right here, but or something. I don't know. But looks badass. Sichlor. I don't know. But Xerox certainly sounds like a Xerox or something. I guess that's the joke. It's like a pocket knife. Not sure. A code for you to use. And that's all the temporal forces ones. We had two good pulls, right? So Caesar and Akup. Oh, sorry, Xerox. I don't know. And Akup. So not bad pull. For 4 random boosters, getting an EX and a full art. That's very good in my book. So not bad. Now we're gonna move to the Twilight Masquerade, or as our German friends will say, if they didn't know how to pronounce their own language, Masquerade. Well, maybe it's not Masquerade. Maybe it's like Masquerade, but I don't think it's Masquerade. I think it's something like Mascarada or something like that. Mascarada in Twilight. This sounds like Twilight, right? It's one of those that is like, it's Twilight, but it's pronounced, or like the original pronunciation or something, so Twilight, right? And Sammelcard Spiel, which is game, cards, and I guess it is trading, so there you go. Learning languages with Pokemon. See, it's not only for collecting and grading. You can also learn languages. But yeah, so basically, a part of me doesn't really enjoy the translated names, but I understand that Pokemon is for kids. Pokemon is for all ages. So it needs to be names that people can pronounce and understand, and they sound like something that they will say, like Sandlash, Sandamere, and Sandshrew is Sandan. So Lucian is Lucian. So that ship sailed. Flampibian. Okay. But in the real world, right? If we had Pokemon in the real world, what will happen? Ninetales in English would be Ninetales because it has 9 tails, right? So not the most original name. But a German person will look at it and go like Vulnona, which I don't know what it means, and I don't know what it makes a reference to, but Vulpix is Vulpix. So maybe it's because Nona is like 9 or something. So, and Vul comes from fox. So it's like 9 fox or something. I don't know. All of this is in Bulbapedia. You can actually check the origins of each name in each language. They have a section for that at the bottom of each Pokemon. But this is me trying to make my best guesses. But yeah, like I like to think that in the real world it will be exactly like this, right? It will be like people will, like different countries will have different names for the Pokemon, mostly because that already happens for animals, right? Like dog is not dog in every language. So that will be cool. It does make it more confusing whenever you try to talk with other fans about Pokemon. But for example, it doesn't happen between Spanish-speaking countries, Italian-speaking countries, and English-speaking countries because Charizard is Charizard for everyone. But if you really think about it, Charizard is not even the original name. It should be Lizardon because that's the name in Japanese, right? So who do we take as base? And that's the thing. A lot of people give a lot of, well, for lack of a better term, give a lot of shit to the German and French Pokemon games and Pokemon cards and all that because it's like, oh, they have different names. But it's like, well, newsflash, people. The English names that we use are also not the original names. The Japanese names are the original names, and they translated them. And for an English person, they make sense. Zapdos is Zapdos, so that they didn't change. But for any other speaking country, it's just like a mystical thing, right? So, for example, I can tell you that for an Italian or for a Spanish person or a Portuguese person, saying Charizard or Blastoise, it sounds more like, saying Kamehameha. It's like magic words. And then if you're older and, nice art. If you're older and all that, you can, Eevee is Evoli. So maybe not the best name. Girafarig is the same. I guess no one wanted to play with the tenet nature of the name, the palindrome. I think that, I think it makes sense. I think that I am a strong defender of, like, for example, Kamehameha should be Kamehameha in every language, right? Because it's like an incantation. In Japanese, it kind of means something, but it's actually a reference to the name of a Hawaiian king. So, it kind of works in Japanese, which is why Toriyama did it. But because his wife gave him the idea, right? So it is what it is. But then I will say that in every language, it should be Kamehameha. It is what it is. And in English, we have that problem that, for example, the Kien-san, which is means cutting disc or something like that, is like destructo disc. And it's like, well, that's a very cool sounding name in English, but I believe it should be just Kien-san. And the solar flare should be just Taiyoken, just because of consistency, because then the Kaioken is Kaioken instead of being King Kai's punch, right? So just stick with something. And with the Pokemon, I can tell you that, for example, Porenta or Farfetch'd, being called Farfetch'd in non-English speaking countries, even though it's a reference to it's a far-fetched thing, it works because it's just like it's not a pun. It's like a magic incantation. Oh, the thing's called Pikachu. What does Pikachu mean? You go to the Bobapedia and you figure it out. But and it comes from Choo-Choo from the mice and Pika from the sound of sparks and all that. But for most of the world, Pikachu is a word, right? And Heracross is the same, and here is Scaraborn, which makes sense because it comes from scarabs, I guess. So there are no right answers. Skarmory, Pansairon, which I guess comes from iron or something, or Panzer, something to do with Panzer, maybe a tank or something. I don't know. Certainly going to pick these cards after the video and go to Bobapedia and just read them all. Read what the names mean. But the cards were the nice to have. See, for Twilight Masquerade, we didn't get that good, such good pulls. I will say we're luckier with Temporal Forces, but not bad. But the piece that has distance, or I don't know how to say that in German, but the main attraction are these two, which are pretty cool, pretty well executed. And this is one of those products that is yes, these are erasers for kids, but an adult collector can just pick them and go man, this is cool, and just put them in on top of on your shelf or your table or something, and it will work. So not bad. I think is even one of the better products compared to the mini teens or even the lunchbox things, because the lunchbox, you can at least use them to store cards or something, but it is a lunchbox. It's not something that, unless you like the aesthetic. But these things are pretty cool. I am curious about what the next school year will bring, but certainly will be some sort of round Pokemon, because that seems to be the condition for the technology. So, I don't know. Let's see. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and correct all my German pronunciations. And I will see you next time on PAX and Recreation.